Hello and welcome back to our garden. I'm trying to build a sustainable way of life, of where we can become a bit more self-sufficient in our food production and also in permaculture. So we're looking up top to where the house is, and then as I pan over, we're looking to where the cob cottage, and then below are the various bamboos that I've planted. This one is the painted Hawaiian bamboo, obviously from Hawaii, and this is the guadua bamboo, and this is from Colombia, and this is one of the strongest, most powerful bamboos that exist on the planet, and it also retains water during the rainy season and releases the water when the dry season comes. Now we have been battling with dry weather and then periods of excessive rain, and with that problem we have a lot of water that would run down this canyon before we bought and developed the property. I've solved that with the bamboos and all the various plantings, but now I am working on the next level, and that is putting in terraces. And so these terraces are to slow down the flow of water. But I had another challenge. I had some very big uh, avocado trees, and these avocado trees were casting vast amounts of shade over the garden. They were also producing a lot of avocados that I could not reach because of the size. So I came up with an idea. I was going to trim off the avocados in these two areas and then use the, the limbs to build a bit of what's called a culture system. And that is where you actually start to bury big limbs and then add in additional smaller limbs and then cover it with sand, cover it with all types of organic material, and you can plant both sides. Well, culture doesn't work on steep slopes, and swales don't work on steep slopes very well. But what I did do was find a method of where I could take a little bit of the concept of not so much swales, but using mounding ability to direct the flow of water, to slow it down so that more of the water could seep into the soil and become part of the groundwater. And then I've buried the logs that I've now cut, which is the avocado tree logs. I've buried that in the ground and topped it all up with whatever organic material I could find. And here's a classic example of all that organic material. And so I've been able to create these mounds to form these terraces. And these terraces slow down the flow of water. But in time to come, these terraces will also become very, very fertile. And I was able to obtain a bunch of sawdust from a local woodworker. And now, with about 60 big bags of sawdust, I've been able to create these areas where now we can start to compost in the logs, the twigs, all the cuttings, the Cuban rose, which is a very prolific flower that grows here in the garden. Now we don't have any flowers on it at the moment, but this is the limb. So I'm able to use all of these cuttings from the garden to lay down a foundation that could now retain the soil and the back of the slope, and with again a combination of soil, combination of sawdust, I've created now the walkways, and now I've begun planting the fruit trees on the upslope side of the walkways. So what you can't quite see very effectively in the line of that banana tree, but here are 3 guava trees that have now been planted into this area that will hopefully put its roots in to the soil, hold my slopes, my downslope side, and obtain nutrients and natural breakdown of organic material as these walkways start to decompose with a period of time. So it's a combination of permaculture, culture, terrace gardening, and just a lot of imagination and hard work that is making this possible and making it a lot of fun. All of this work has been about 5 days. Not that backbreaking, but very rewarding. And hopefully we will eat from now, it will be about 30 to 35 fruit trees in 4 different species, from cherry, rambutan, I'm not going to have avocado, guava, and pomelo, which is a citrus, orange trees. That is what will be growing in this area. Stay tuned for more videos.